Glad to be on the show, boys.
Sorry to cut you off. We have a brand new WWE champion, Husky Harris, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt. He is the new WWE champion, and we'll discuss that a little bit more. But first, Zach, welcome to the show.
Again, thank you guys for having me. I apologize I was a little late. I was exploring the high mountains of Colorado last weekend. I tried to make it back, but things happened.
I hear they're very high mountains over there.
Yes, they're very high. I felt very high. It was great. So.
Well, Zach, we started a lot of things last week. You know, some of the first questions that we asked to Chris and Dylan were, how did you get into wrestling? What brought you in? Like, what made you stay?
Well, I mean, as far as wrestling is concerned, it was something that was just always on TV. You could really... We had it good back in the day. Especially when I started watching, we had the first Nitro, the first Raw. I mean, I was around for all of that. Being able to see the Monday Night War really unfold and pick a side, because while I feel like we both had our favorite factions, wrestlers on each company, our loyalty really laid with WCW. We played WCW Revenge, World Tour, we watched Nitro, we watched Thunder. We begged our parents to drive us down to the cable store so we could get the box to order a pay-per-view. I think the first one we ever watched was Halloween Havoc. And it 98, and it didn't fucking work. We were sitting there for hours missing everything, trying to get the box to work. And we finally got it on, and it was great. It was like our lives have really come to fruition there. And there have been other times, with the satellite dish, knocking off the snow.
The snow during the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we've had our moments, but really sticking with WCW, and I was always a Stinger fan, and seeing that evolve, it's been good seeing the evolution of the moves and the personas and the music and what it's done for me, how I still enjoy it well into my late 20s, and that's kind of where I'm at with it now. I still enjoy the product, while sometimes I get so pissed off. It still gives me that blast from the past nostalgia sometimes. So
it's like you didn't even miss last week.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Our answers are so similar and things like that. Well, it's good to have you on the show, and let's go right into it. Chris, how did we do on our predictions for the Elimination Chamber?
Well, looks like Dylan kicked our ass over there.
Which is to be expected every single pay-per-view.
Yeah, I didn't do so hot.
There's Dylan's heel turn right there.
Yeah. At least I got the Elimination Chamber match right, but it looks
you
like,
and me both.
So what was
did.
the final scores?
Hey, let me tally this up. Did Alexa Bliss win?
No,
Naomi lost.
won.
That's right.
Yep,
we
did.
all messed up on that one.
I remember we all said that WWE would never give Naomi that push. We apparently were wrong.
It's a new age. I mean, when you can twerk as a finisher, that's what the young people want, apparently. And
Really
they
like the
women's
glowing
division.
lights and the ravings and the dancing.
Feeling the glow. Just feeling the glow all over my face.
All right, you and I, Zane, we got 2 right.
Oh, Jesus.
Dylan got 6 right.
And that makes me the first ever Horseman Wrestling Podcast champion.
For this week.
For this until the next
month.
pay-per-view.
For this month. We'll see if Dylan
And then
You gotta
defending
give props where
champion.
props are due.
I think Chris and I were more optimistic about our predictions.
Sorry, my bad.
We were trying to be the wild horse, throw a wild card in there.
Yeah, well, I'm a
how
realist
those
and
vaudevillains
live
do,
in the
bud?
world.
They were the first ones pinned.
Yeah, you cherry-picked
hell.
them. You said they were your wild card.
Well, I thought they were going to be until they came out right after. They were the second
It was
team in.
terrible. That was how those two are still on SmackDown is crazy.
It's true.
Bring up the Revival. Bring up DIY. Bring up any of those other tag teams, and they'll do better.
I bet you see Authors of Pain up here within the next 6
brutal.
months.
You
I
think?
bet you do, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's the manager's name? Paul? No, his name's not Paul. What's his name?
It is. It's Paul Ellering.
That's his name, Paul Ellering.
Paul Ellering. Yeah,
Yeah, I guarantee within 6 months they'll be on the main roster.
he has been with the company forever. Like you look, Wikipedia him, you will see he has had his dick in everything.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
For the casual fans that don't even watch NXT, they probably don't know who the Authors of Pain are. They're the new NXT reigning and defending tag team champions.
Fantastic.
So,
And they're on a tear. Like no one's even been able to put a match on with them.
Yeah,
It's just
they're the
rolling
big.
through.
They're big. Vince's big men.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Big sweat.
Sorry, what are you doing,
I
bud?
don't know what's happening.
Buttons get challenging.
Okay, so there are a few things that happened in this week. One of the biggest being the shirt that Dylan is wearing, Kevin Owens.
The Kevin Owens show, and it was all that Monday night.
He turned on Chris Jericho.
Just
That bastard.
Which I think we all kind of saw coming leading
True.
up to Mania, but I thought it would have happened at Fastlane. My thought is Kevin Owens would end up costing Chris Jericho his Intercontinental title and act like nothing's wrong. Then during the Goldberg-Kevin Owens match, Chris Jericho would cost Kevin Owens the match, and that would feud into Mania over the IC belt.
Funny thing is, he's the United States champion.
Or U.S. champion. Sorry, wrong show. You're right.
it just shows you how much better SmackDown is than Raw. I mean, if that's what you're thinking the title's on.
Well, Dean Ambrose is kind of the Kevin Owens of SmackDown.
He's kind of.
That didn't even feel right saying.
I mean,
but-
yeah.
I'm not the biggest Dean Ambrose fan, personally.
I think he's gotten worse as he's
John
gone on,
Mox.
Yeah,
on his own. When he was with the Shield, I thought he was a 10 times better wrestler on the mic. I think with this,
Same was
the
wrong with
lunatic
Reigns.
French thing,
True.
though, kind of it got stale.
See, the thing with the Lunatic Fringe thing is they need to let him have more free reign. Like before, when he was in the Indies, when he was cutting those crazy promos, they let him do whatever he want. Those were some good promos.
Yeah, back when he was in CZW, taking a Sawzall to his head.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was gruesome shit.
That was.
Gotta do
If
what
you
gotta
don't
do
know
to
what
get
that
to
is,
the top, I
look
guess.
at Dean Ambrose CZW top moments, and you will probably not sleep tonight.
Give props though to Dean Ambrose. Do you remember that match? I think it was last year between him and Jericho, where he gave Jericho the old thumbtack spot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos to Jericho for being able to take that kind of a shot. I mean, he's not the youngest guy, he's not the oldest guy, but for someone of that prestige in the company to take a tack shot, that's impressive.
I could sit here and talk about Jericho all day. I love everything about Jericho.
Everyone likes the guy.
Him as a person, his backstage politics, how he just doesn't give a shit and sticks up to everyone, gets in a fight with Brock Lesnar, doesn't take shit from Goldberg.
He's the
anything.
most lovable
I
heel.
love it. I love it.
Beats up Sin Cara.
Brings out Gilbert.
Oh, that was so funny.
Oh my
See,
god.
when you tagged us that Gilbert would be returning to Raw, I was not the most excited, but how it played out, I was happy with. Like Kevin Owens just destroy him.
yeah, it was just comedic relief. That's all
Yeah,
it
well,
was.
that's what we said about James Ellsworth, and he's still there. And everyone, and he's so over. That's what blows my mind.
I think that's coming down though. This whole thing that he's got with Carmella, and how they're trying to fake that. He's just stuttering. They use him as what he is. He's like
He's a jobber.
he's like a Spike Dudley with no talent. He just can take punishment. That Styles Clash he took off the steel steps was brutal.
Yeah.
Who else would take a shot like that?
No names.
Yeah, there's.
Well, that's the thing is he came in as a jobber, and then they called him back because people loved him.
Because he was over as can be.
Yeah,
Apparently, he's been running his own promotion for years.
yeah
He's from like Maine or Maryland or something.
Huh.
I don't know where he's from, but I know he's been in Indies for a while, and he used to have a tag team. They were tag team champions. I don't know what promotion it was,
Probably his own.
but he was called Pretty or something Pretty, and the other guy was like Butt Ugly, so their tag team name was Pretty Ugly.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Okay, so talking with Kevin Owens and Jericho, what do you guys think going forward is going to happen? Do we think we're going to see something going into Mania where
Absolutely.
Jericho
Yes,
costs
definitely.
him the Universal title, which we'll bring into in our Fastlane predictions here in the coming weeks? You know, Goldberg going over on Kevin Owens and him going in as champion in WrestleMania, going against Brock. So do you think that's going to be the match at Mania, Jericho KO? for the U.S. title, or do you think Jericho's going to drop the title before he gets there?
As much as I don't like it, Goldberg is going to be the champ going out of Fastlane.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the match will be at Mania, but I can guarantee it will be Jericho versus Owens.
Which will be a great match.
It will be. That's one everyone wants to see. That's like the only reason people want to see that whole thing end is because those two can go at it.
Yeah.
Great wrestlers. Both are huge talents. They're amazing.
They're both over right now.
Exactly. So it's going to just be a great match.
Do you think that was a double turn? Kind of what'll happen to Jericho going into the face and KO is going into the heel?
I think Jericho will stay the same. Owens will be a heel, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be a heel. They're both gonna get.
They're the heels that are over.
Is there? Should
Little
be
behind the camera work going on there.
goddamn stage crew. It's cut.
You're off the teams.
Can't get any help.
Send them back down.
Anyway,
to the Indies.
ship them back to OVW.
Apparently they didn't see the sign that we're live and on
Recording.
Sorry.
Okay, so with the Elimination Chamber, and as we said at the beginning of the show, we have a brand new WWE champion in Bray Wyatt. In my opinion, kudos. It's about time.
Yeah,
It's about time they put the belt on this man.
I hate to toot my own horn here, but going back maybe 3 years, I remember us down here. I think we were watching a Mania, and I think the Shield was still together, and Bray Wyatt was just still developing this character. And I, after I saw him hit that first Sister Abigail, I'm like, mark my words, this guy's gonna be a big deal someday. He'll get it. And I keep hearing, oh, that Roman Reigns guy, he's gonna be the guy, which he is, unfortunately, but. It's
Much
about
to
time.
everyone's disdain.
About time.
Yeah.
About time for Bray
No,
Wyatt.
I don't think you can hold anything up to, or Roman Reigns can hold anything up to Bray Wyatt. He blows him out of the water in every.
Oh,
Bray
yeah.
Wyatt has put himself over. The whole gimmick is just perfect for
His
him.
entrance, heel, face, whatever. You look at the crowd, that everyone's into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's created the perfect persona, and he
Bunch of
himself
fireflies
does
out
it
in the
amazing.
crowd.
How long, though, do we think the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt dynamic will last? Because I feel it's the long con for Randy. Randy's gonna play this out, find Bray when he's vulnerable, RKO, done.
Well, he's the Viper.
And Money in the Bank's coming up.
Vipers are very sneaky.
Right, but he had the title shot, but he gave it away.
See, and
why would he?
He's doing that to make Bray vulnerable, open up to him,
Show
and be
his
like,
allegiance
you know,
to him.
the closer you are to the dragon, the warmer you're going to be, and when you're close, that's when you can strike.
Yeah.
So,
Or they're gonna have that battle royal to choose the
I'm gonna
number one
call
contender.
I'm gonna call Orton. Oh, because I've heard stories that it's gonna be Orton, Wyatt, and Luke Harper
In a triple threat.
In a
Which
triple
would,
threat.
I don't think it would be bad.
But I just feel like Luke Harper brings nothing to the table.
Take out
Have you
Luke
ever watched
Harper.
him wrestle?
I watched some
He's
of his
great.
other stuff. I don't find him interesting. He's a big guy that can move, and he's explosive, but there's nothing else there.
I like Luke Harper, but I could see take out Luke Harper, put in AJ Styles for that triple threat.
I agree. Keep AJ Styles on top. The
Keep
guy,
Keep him in the picture, 100%.
absolutely.
Not only is he so over right now, but everyone loves him, and he's a great wrestler. He's paid his dues in every single promotion there
He's
is.
exciting. Even though, let's say, he has the same moveset, compared to John Cena. Well, arguably John Cena has gotten more moves, but AJ Styles is still amazing to watch after all these years. You may know the Pele kick is coming. You may know the forearm is coming. But it's still impressive to see him do it. It's still explosive. It's still fun to watch. And even though it may be the same thing, he does it differently every time. How he gets into the Styles clash, how he does the calf crusher, everything is just so dynamic, and it's not as planned as it is calling out in the ring.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
he can do. They can call spots with him, and he can react incredibly.
perfectly.
He can carry matches.
The
That's
one
just-
thing,
yeah.
the only thing I changed about AJ Styles, the haircut.
the mom haircut?
The mom haircut.
Soccer mom haircut.
I don't like the soccer mom.
Yeah, but have you
haircut.
seen how he looks with short? I think he looks way better with long hair than he does with short hair.
Seriously, when he had
Back
that
in
like
TNA
the shaved
or whatever.
head,
Oh,
the shaved
that
head.
looks-
He had that when we went to Impact.
He was just starting to let his hair
Oh,
grow
that's
down.
right.
Yeah, so we were actually talking about that last week, how that was the last time we went and saw a live event. Yeah, it was AJ Styles' last appearance on TV for TNA.
That's true. That was the last time I saw Sting on TNA too, in that battle royal. And he got eliminated by Bobby Roode.
That's true.
Crazy how the world turns.
Yeah.
So going into the battle royal next week, I don't think they've even announced the combatants. I think it's going to be Cena, Baron Corbin.
Pretty much people from the chamber.
I think.
Yeah.
Do you
Luke
think?
Harper's in that, I've heard.
I was looking to see if
Put
they've
Jericho in it.
Jericho's on
Switching
Raw.
shows.
Switching shows, and then Mania come back.
I've heard some controversy though about the Elimination Chamber, that Dolph Ziggler was supposed to be in it, and then was taken out and swapped with Dean Ambrose. So that when they make the limited edition shirts for the show, and they give them to the people that buy like the front row seats and get the chair,
Right.
But it had Ziggler instead of Ambrose. So I think that was the main play, was to have Ziggler do that, but then that would be all the heels versus Cena, pretty much. I mean, think about who else other than Cena was a face in that match,
That's true.
Yeah.
other than Ambrose. But so if Ziggler was in there, another heel.
And Ambrose is one of those guys you can't really say he's face or heel. He kind of lies on that middle ground where he can play both roles.
Mhm.
And
That's how a lot of guys are.
his reaction won't change no matter what he does.
But Ambrose has already got it's already set what he's doing. Him and Baron Corbin are feuding,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, I mean, like, you can already see that it's just like filler spots. Yeah, Baron Corbin's going to be in the Battle Royal or whatever, but
He's
it's
not
not
gonna win.
nothing really is going to be happening. He's already got his thing going on with Dean Ambrose.
And I think Baron Corbin's a great wrestler. I just don't think he's championship material.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
he will be.
yet.
He absolutely
He's-
will be, but
That's just Vince polishing that turd for us. I will say his finisher's sick. If he could get that just as like a catching finisher all the time, that thing's dirty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Something needs to change about his character. His
Yeah.
character is not
it's bland.
championship material.
It's
WWE
bland,
championship
very bland.
material. Yeah, because Bray Wyatt, look at him. Compare anyone with him with Bray Wyatt.
yeah.
Closest what? Undertaker, in a way? With the dark,
Yeah.
this.
Not really undead, more kind of like a voodoo vibe kind of thing.
Are
Yeah,
we
Cobb
seriously
going to
getting Undertaker and Roman Reigns this year for Mania?
I hope not. I just don't want anything with Roman Reigns. If
I
anything, I
just-
want Roman Reigns.
Give
on
him a
mid-
pre-show.
yeah, pre-show, mid-card at most.
Put him against Mojo Rawlins and just let the place
Mojo
do
Rawley.
itself out. Just let everyone get all the booze out, and then the rest of the show is phenomenal.
But where's Seth Rollins going to play in on this?
That-
Because apparently he's going to be good for Mania.
Really?
I think Triple H is still the plan.
You still think?
Well, then what's going to happen with Joe?
I think that's gonna happen. That's gonna play out.
What was it, Samoa Joe and
Fastlane,
Sami
yeah.
Zayn?
Well, no, I think Samoa Joe will be in the Money in the Bank's its own pay per view.
That's its own.
But I bet they do. I bet he'll be in the Andre the Giant
Yeah. Well,
with Sami Zayn with
Big
both-
Show.
Yeah,
I've heard word that Sammy's supposed to win the Intercontinental Championship at Mania.
good.
Huh?
They'll this is finally his push.
Good.
Little boot to
I
the
want
butt.
Sammy to get.
I like him too. I mean,
Just don't do
And
what
he's
they did
over.
to Zack Ryder
Once
last year.
oh, poor Zack Ryder. He
Have
just
him win it.
hurt.
He got his WrestleMania moment.
And then next day, it's put that horse down.
I think it goes back to when it was him, John Cena, and Kane in that angle where they just made him look so bad. They put him in the wheelchair.
Oh,
Pushed him off
yeah.
the stage.
Oh,
he
John
lost his
Cena was making out
girlfriend.
with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just make him look like the just saddest, most pathetic.
Why do you
thing
think they
you'd
don't
ever
push
seen.
him? What is it about Zack Ryder?
Do you think they think that he's just goofy? Because he's shown that he can play a more serious role, as he showed last year's WrestleMania in the ladder match.
And he's not bad in the ring. He really isn't.
No,
Roman Reigns is worse.
But I don't know.
Kurt
Zach,
Hawkins is better than Roman Reigns in the ring. In
It's
my,
true.
yeah.
there's
Edge
nothing
reunion.
nothing lamer than his. It's like, oh yeah, fist him. Fist him.
They're just trying to make a new John
That's
Cena,
what
so when
Yeah.
eventually John Cena phases out, he's going to take over, and
Be
no,
the
it's not going to
face.
work.
It's not.
See,
People
yeah.
know that, and they're not accepting of it.
Cena works because he gets the kids to just scream their head off, and it's never gonna work with Roman Reigns because the kids are this guy sucks.
Cena's good on the mic.
Yeah, he makes
Reigns-
people laugh.
No.
He doesn't say
Like back in the day when he was Dr. Thugonomics, and he'd come out and
He
be
should
the
bring that gimmick back just once.
Oh.
Just once.
Well, kind of when they did the throwback, like the Raw, like the old school Raw.
Oh,
he brought it back.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, he's...
Maybe another run is that gimmick.
he's
Turn him
good.
heel for like a
Bring
month.
back Biker Taker while we're at it.
That's what I'm saying. Man. I do
Biker Taker versus Thugonomic Cena.
I'm still holding out for a
Mania.
Sting Taker.
Not gonna happen.
I
Sting
know
is
it's
done.
not gonna happen.
I think Sting.
We love him.
We've
Let's
seen
remember him
last
in the
of
past because we don't want to see him like he did going out on his back at Night of Champions.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot better than that. He didn't deserve what happened to him at Mania with Triple H, but it happened.
And that was just
we just gotta move
last
on.
Yeah.
thing
We just
of
gotta
going
move on.
over
Putting the nail-
WCW.
What if we got AJ Styles HBK at Mania?
I know.
Apparently, there is talk that HBK will be back for
I
another
would
match.
love to see that.
That was supposed to be the deal at Mania, and because that promo, that like teaser poster came
Yeah.
out with AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I don't think Shawn Michaels is coming back either.
I don't think
Those guys are just too old, and we're living in the past, the nostalgia and things like that. But speaking of the past, that's actually going to segue us into our next section. Everybody's favorite time frame of wrestling, the 90s.
The 90s.
Okay,
Better times.
Better
It was
times.
better times. You know, attitude.
Happier times.
Attitude era.
Art style was.
You weren't afraid to turn on the TV and
Well-
see Roman Reigns come out as number 30.
Oh, dude.
We're
Rip.
gonna
It's even just like
blast on him the whole episode. We're gonna
Sorry.
We want to have people watch the show. I don't
That's
want to keep
true.
talking.
if we
That's-
ever get big enough to get emotes, our first one is gonna be a piece of shit with Roman Reigns' face on it.
Are those the two first shirts for the podcast? We're gonna have a polished turd wearing the Shield outfit, Roman Reigns, and then
with a
we've got
bulletproof vest.
then we've got like an over like photoshopped picture of Brian Kendrick.
Oh,
BK.
awesome.
I'd love
Okay,
it.
back on the point. 90s. Everybody, we're gonna go around the table. Favorite 90s superstar when he hit his peak in the 90s. He may have wrestled in the 2000s, but when he was the best, when he was at his best in the 90s. Chris, let's start with you.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Even though he debuted in the late 90s, I dig that.
Kurt Angle. Amazing.
Bald or hair?
Hair. When he had the hair and he's spraying.
And spraying
and
the
he's
milk.
spraying the milk.
Okay.
Even though, to go back to last week, one of my favorite matches was the Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle at Mania.
Oh,
Bald.
so good.
Amazing. Even, oh god, so good. But Kurt Angle is just amazing. Just the performance
love
that he
him, you
puts
hate him.
on. He's so good on the mic. Oh, he'll make you hate him. Just like he's like JBL's skills on the mic. How JBL made everyone hate him. So I remember him as a kid. I literally just hated him. Even when I knew it was in, it was script, I was just like, I still hate him just because of the way he is. And
Yeah.
just the way the manipulation of Kurt Angle, his performance in the ring, he gave it 110% every time. There was no half-ass in it. He was doing everything he can. That beautiful moonsault he throws out, his
yeah.
Germans, just incredible.
Very technical wrestler.
I wish he would come back and give another run with Brock Lesnar.
That
That's
would
who I
be
think would be
sweet.
awesome.
I
That would be
heard that he's coming back.
He's going to be back
in
in
the
the Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame.
How
I
he
don't know if
didn't
he'll
come
ever be
back for
in
the-
game.
How he didn't come back for the Rumble just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That would have been so. That would have been the biggest.
How
pop.
Samoa Joe didn't debut, how Shinsuke didn't debut. It just
And with
And
Kurt
we'll
Angle,
get
Brock
to Shinsuke
Lesnar,
later.
sorry to go off. Did you guys ever hear about how the superstars were talking about the best match they've ever seen? It was not live air, but it was in front of the locker room, and it was Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle mat wrestling
Oh, that
in
would
the
be cool.
middle of the ring.
that'd be pretty cool.
Brock was just a freak back
Apparently,
then,
Kurt
too.
Angle kicked his ass.
Gold medal
For
Oh,
over
yeah.
an hour, Brock Lesnar tried to take him down. He couldn't.
I've heard that
Man.
before too.
Freak of nature, Kurt Angle, man.
He's amazing.
Zach?
I mean, as my favorite wrestler, Sting.
Yeah.
It's just the way no matter what, you're watching Nitro, you're looking up. Watching him change from the Surfer gimmick to the Crow, then to Wolfpack, and then finally his little attempt at a heel turn back in like the early 2000s in WCW.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Right before
the guy just carried himself so well. Everybody loved him. He was exciting. I mean, he was the face of WCW. There'll never be another one. But I mean, the closest thing I think to Sting in the 90s is Finn Balor now. And Finn Balor is, I would say Finn Balor is probably the best wrestler in WWE right now. I hope he recovers soon and is back for Mania because he is so exciting to watch.
I saw a picture of him and Seth Rollins in, what was it?
And they were like doing
Rehab
PT,
together,
yeah.
PT together.
Bret Hart somewhere shaking his fist saying, "Damn it, Seth."
Yeah, seriously. I wonder if he's still sour about that.
Dylan?
I have two, and I thought about this long and hard, and I
You gotta choose
couldn't-
one.
I can't. I seriously tried. So, when DX started, Triple H was so good.
Triple H is still so good.
He still is
Say
so
what you
good.
will about him.
And the authority
he
thing,
kept that body.
True.
Through all those years, he's gotten better body throughout the years.
That's what I'm saying. I think he looks better.
He looks better.
But he's slower now. I mean,
Yeah.
he can't carry. Like, could you imagine him and Shawn Michaels having a match now?
Oh yeah.
It'd still be great,
Mhm.
but you
It
wouldn't
wouldn't
see Shawn doing a backflip off the middle rope, out into the floor. You wouldn't see the hard shots like was it Elimination Chamber when Shawn Michaels won the World Heavyweight Championship?
Yeah.
The
Against
first one.
That
he
was
had
one
like
of
the bob.
yeah,
Like, short.
the bob. When he wore the brown
Yeah.
the brown pants, he looked like they were like Middle Ages pants.
Yeah.
And that was probably the goriest match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. But they couldn't do it now. There's no way. They're too slow.
It would appeal to us, to older wrestling fans. It wouldn't appeal to newer generation. Because they would be like, these guys are slow, but we just think about, oh man.
We would just
think
be
about
like,
that.
I remember when they first met.
Oh yeah, Amanda.
And then the second one is Undertaker. The whole persona of seeing, and maybe back before, I don't know. The whole '90s, he was great. From when he debuted at Survivor Series.
You
to-
talking like Mortuary guy, or you talking like the Ministry of Darkness?
I'm talking Ministry of Darkness and after.
That was a good angle, I thought. I mean,
Scared the fuck out of me.
oh,
So I was
Yeah.
gonna say the Mortuary guy. I wasn't. It was still he had that dark feel to him. But when Ministry of Darkness as a kid, you're like, this is a horror movie in the middle of a ring coming to these people. I remember us playing the theme song and having one of our friends hide under the table because they were so scared that the Undertaker was going to come down.
Shout out Keem. Not really, but
And continuing. But yeah, and up until even the biker gimmick, as much as people want to rip on it, I still think
He
was
still
great
killed
during
it.
that
I
time.
thought he was great.
I mean, he
I wish he
came-
would come back.
When he came back, I mean, he was, quite considerably heavier, and he wasn't as fast in the ring.
oh,
But
yeah.
he got back to his old self. Shook off the ring rust, and he was back to who he was, and he was still, the American badass.
Yeah,
Very true.
100%.
And then coming back as the darkness.
And for you, Zane,
There was two. I'm going to do a sentimental favorite, but this wasn't. I didn't see this until I read the chat. We know him. We love him. He may be fictional, but he was real in our hearts. Jimmy King.
Jimmy King.
What would King do? Every time I look down at my wrist, I just think. Anytime I got a problem, something going on.
King's a queen.
Wicked?
Wicked?
Yeah, that's good.
He's got a saying. He says,
Wicked.
"This is America. I can be anyone I want."
I think he
Can
he
beat
says
up
he can beat
anyone.
up whoever he wants.
If you haven't seen that movie, Ready to Rumble, it's on Netflix. Go see it. It's hilarious.
Is
not
it on Netflix?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
It's on Amazon Video.
It's-
Oh,
It'll be the best $10 you ever spend.
Doesn't matter 'cause
If you like wrestling.
Even
I-
$10, $5 probably.
Oh yeah, it was great.
If
Okay.
you're a wrestling fan, especially in the 90s,
just don't watch any of the
2000s.
old Nitros after David Arquette comes in. 'cause
Oh.
it's
What?
brutal.
Oh yeah, I was waiting. No one's favorite was David Arquette.
I watched,
David Arquette.
I watched New Blood
was
Rising
the champion.
2000, and David Arquette came out, and he got the biggest boos.
Oh, he got a
yeah.
lot of heat for it.
Terrible.
People were so-
That was
that
the
was-
angle that brought down the company.
One
There was
of the-
stuff before that.
One of them.
That was
But that was
That definitely didn't help the
belt
company.
on a celebrity, your most prestigious title, and you put that on this guy who was a star of a movie that didn't really do so well, but to wrestling fans, it's one of our favorites.
no, exactly.
People weren't too happy about that.
I feel like WCW's celebrity gimmick was so subpar compared to WWE because, I mean, we had Jay Leno. We got Karl Malone. I mean, that's good
I
for
thought
us.
those matches were great.
Okay.
The Jay Leno
DDP, not Jay Leno, but the Karl Malone,
Okay, the Karl Malone was cool,
with Dennis Rodman and Holt.
I agree,
thought
but
that
that's
was great.
So that's cool for us being from Utah. We
Right.
Karl Malone, you know, we've seen
Right,
him
with Dennis
play.
Rodman.
I mean, yeah, it was cool with
Yeah,
the
Worm was
Jazz,
on there.
the Bulls, you know, rivalry at the time. That was cool. But okay, what happened after? But then we got David Arquette,
right.
and then it just moved toward. I mean, remember the stable, Misfits in Action, fucking
with
Yeah.
Hugh Morris.
Hugh Morris, Major Guns,
Yeah.
all those people, and just when it got to that point, it was unwatchable. WCW was
You
unwatchable.
mean like the
at
Hulk
that point.
Hogan, Billy Kidman angle?
Oh, that was rough.
But
That
anyways,
was
that was
unwatchable.
really bad.
Okay, anyway.
Back to it. But
But those were better times.
Yeah.
my favorite wrestler of the '90s, Rob Van
Okay.
Dam.
The whole damn
The
show.
whole fuck. Mr. Monday Night.
Mr.
Yeah.
Monday Night.
Hell yeah.
I think just always seen him doing the high flying. I'm not very much of a hardcore fan. ECW is about as much as I go. Like I never saw
CZW.
CZW.
It's still there.
I
Death
don't
match
like
every year.
the aspect of too much blood. Like I don't think I've watched like clips. I've never watched New Jack because that guy's bloody.
New Jack is a piece of
He's
shit.
crazy.
Well, I know.
That
But
guy's
I'm not
absolutely
talking about him as a person. I'm
Oh.
talking like the aspect of his wrestling.
Oh,
And like even when
no.
Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan would wear the crimson mask, I hate the aspect of blood in wrestling. I don't know why. It doesn't appeal to me.
It would
But-
bleach Ric Flair's
His
hair
hair
just
red.
red.
Yeah, but Rob Van Dam, you know, from his time in ECW and him starting like the invasion angle with
Paul
Paul Heyman. You know,
Oh,
when I think
sweet.
ECW, I think Rob Van Dam, I think Sabu, I think Tommy Dreamer. Those are the three guys that come out.
Sandman.
Sandman from Sandy, Utah.
Yeah, right.
Sandman. Yeah.
But
that's-
anyways, Rob Van Dam,
His forehead.
his angles with Triple H, his angles with Kane when they were the tag team
Oh,
champions.
they were. I loved Kane at that time.
The 2000, like early 2000s, like Raw was great.
Mhm.
But even his work in the 90s, because he showed up like 1999.
Yeah. So
Sure.
if you said favorite early 2000s wrestler, Rob Van Dam would definitely be there for
Yeah.
me.
Edge. Be
Edge
there.
was
That's-
Christian.
Yeah.
Edge, Christian, yeah.
Jeff Hardy.
Even Matt Hardy. I love Matt Hardy.
See, okay, breaking off. What do you guys think of the broken Matt
man.
Hardy?
Awesome.
You like it?
Awesome.
It's.
Yeah,
I
it's
listened to
weird.
some of like the Bound for Glory promos that he does, and the stuff that he did with all the old tag teams. I thought that was funny, but I don't know. It's a
It's
little
very
too much.
odd. Yeah, I'd
It's
say
weird,
too much production.
but it's
behind it.
over and he kills it.
Yeah, I'm
if
happy
it was
that he's doing
anyone
whatever he
else, yeah, if it was anyone else, I don't think it would work. But with his experience, and he just owned it and he killed it.
Very, very committed to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just one more thing. I love how active he is on Twitter, though. Like, have you
Yeah.
seen the tweets with him and like
Haven't.
kind of chirping at Bray Wyatt,
Yeah.
saying, we're here, you know where to find us, all that stuff. I thought that was glorious. I think that would be a killer angle too.
You think it would work?
Broken Jeff, broken Matt.
You think
and
it
the
would work in
Wyatts.
WWE? You think it
Yeah.
would work?
Do you
Absolutely.
think they would do some
100%.
cross promotional sort
They
of?
wouldn't do
Oh,
that. No,
it would have to.
They would have
with-
to be them come over.
Vince still has to have his fist halfway up your ass, working you like a puppet. But
Yeah.
it would be cool. I think it would do well.
That'd be a great match. Think about it, yeah.
Dream matches. That'll be another aspect of an episode that we do in the
Do you
future.
think Hardy Boys versus the broken Hardy Boys versus Bray and Randy Orton?
That'd be a killer match.
Would be.
But would you want Randy Orton in there, or would you want a Luke Harper in there instead?
Where it's just straight Wyatts. Because he's
That's
like the
true.
token Wyatt.
Yeah, he
Because
is.
he
He very much is.
it wouldn't make sense if you had all those three, Bray, Jeff, and Matt, the way they look, their
Yeah.
personas, and a Randy Orton.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He doesn't quite fit.
What
Maybe
happened to
the
the other
double
Wyatt?
think, yeah.
What happened to
Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan?
He
injured.
injured.
He's
injured.
he's hurt. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
he's been
he was
kinda out for a
great
while.
in the ring too. Him and Luke Harper.
They need the Wyatt gimmick though. Eric Rowan would not do it without it because
Yeah.
when he did that Survivor Series angle when Sting first debuted, he was on that team.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you thought about that match, you wouldn't remember that he was in it.
Nope.
I don't.
No.
See,
No.
exactly. Because it was him,
He's forgettable.
Eric
outside
Rowan,
of it.
Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Big Show.
Ryback.
That was the
Ryback.
team.
Mr. Hardy.
Oh,
That was the team. And Dolph Ziggler and John Cena. And
he's
John
so
Cena.
yeah.
Okay.
But like Survivor Series, that's another story. But it's like Dolph Ziggler was the one that went over. And you don't really remember anything else about that match except that Sting debuted and that he beat the Authority. But anyways, back to the 90s. Next aspect of the 90s, favorite theme song from the era. We'll go like Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars era.
Oh, man.
Give me one of each. Give me one from WWE and one from WCW. I'll start this one. My favorite theme from WCW in the 90s, you don't turn your back on them, the Wolfpack, the NWO Red.
Sick.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's solid.
You
Damn.
might end up in a body bag.
That was going to be
My WWE is
one.
Triple H.
Always.
Yeah.
You
The
gotta
game.
love the game.
So
I
good.
got one that might be a little bit controversial, just saying the name, but Chris Benoit.
I was thinking Chris
Oh,
Benoit
man,
It is
too.
great too.
Our Lady Peace. That was a sweet song. You know,
Given everything that happened, put that aside.
I mean, you put that aside, you know,
his
that's,
theme and his wrestling.
you cannot deny his in-ring ability. Man, just
He may have been taking too many bumps 10 years earlier.
The diving headbutt may have done more damage than we thought.
he was awesome. It's a shame that happened to him, but I would
Chris
say
Benoit was one of my favorites.
he was
So
awesome.
fun to watch. WrestleMania 20, him, Triple H, and HBK, that triple threat, that was pretty good.
No, that was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we-
remember when I saw everything that had happened with that, it like broke my
We
childhood
just
heart.
got back from scout camp.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went to that scout camp.
But we
had-
did, and we saw that together.
Yeah,
we saw that he was dead first, and we watched that Raw where they did the memorial for him. And then the next day, you come to find out
What actually
happened, and then WWE just told you like, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I think that'd be a
Sweep
good
that
idea.
under the
Because what
rug.
happened with that, the angle that was going during that time was when Mr. McMahon had blown up in the car.
Yeah, he was dead.
He was dead, but
Kayfabe.
kayfabe dead. But you know, like they were playing that angle, and then that thing happened, and he was on Raw that next day, basically saying what happened.
And it was
And it was a
completely
memorial
appropriate
show.
to do that, and people
Yeah.
always questioned, are like, was it right for him to do that?
Yeah,
Whatever,
absolutely.
It would have been bad if he didn't.
If they would have kept with that angle, and have you seen like all the things they had planned for that angle? It's kind of good. It got shot down.
Well, did you hear what the plan was at that pay-per-view? He was supposed to go over as the champion.
Benoit.
Benoit was,
and
yeah.
he didn't show up because they were supposed
Same
to
thing
have,
happened with Eddie
That's
Guerrero.
right.
He was supposed to go over on Batista.
Yeah, so they were supposed to have
Shame.
the live event on Saturday night, set it up. It was I don't remember where it was, but anyways, like I watched just a little shoot with Chavo Guerrero, and he was on Talk Is Jericho, and it was crazy just to hear him recount like what happened because he wanted Chavo to come to his house to help him out.
Yeah.
Whew.
Wow.
Was that the interview with Dean Malenko and Chavo? It was Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko.
I don't know. I just heard the Chavo.
That's
shoot.
a good Talk Is Jericho. There's one with just Chavo Guerrero, and then there's one with Chavo and Dean.
But it sent me chills. He's like, yeah, he wanted me to go over there.
Everything, and he was.
Do you think he
calm.
would have like if Chavo would have saw the bodies? Do you think Benoit would have killed him?
That's
I don't know.
That's it. Just gives me chills talking.
That's
about that
just
kind of
a
back to wrestling.
yeah.
yeah.
That's
That's a little too much. We can maybe talk about that at a different
It's a
time.
little
But okay,
bit
we're still
heavy
talking about
stuff.
themes.
seems mine.
The pop that make you happy. Let's go with that. Zach,
I've got mine queued, just ready to go. I remember when he came back from an injury. It was huge.
I remember when he came to save us.
Yeah.
There's just no beating it. Now though, they're great theme songs, but just Jericho.
Yeah, back in the day, there was very few good ones because it was just like a lot of them were just generic.
did you know he used that in WCW as well?
He did, yeah.
And like when he first came over, they kind of changed it, but they always went back.
There was always a special place in my heart for this song too.
Billy
I loved
Gunn.
when they brought Billy Gunn back for a little while. That guy was in the best shape, and still just killed it in the ring. Road Dogg was brutal, but
Road Dogg always had a roadie in a few of these.
Brody was drinking some C-minuses before the show every night. What about the Billy and Chuck angle?
oh,
Jeez.
Do we forget about that? Do we
I think that's a what culture video, like what WWE wants you to forget about the early 2000s. I think Chuck Palumbo, Billy Gunn angle.
It was Rico.
Yeah.
Push him towards
Oh, that was rough.
And then they're like, wait, we're not.
They're so surprised. They're like,
Yeah,
what?
like,
You
what?
think we're gay?
Yeah. Like,
That would totally not be PC.
Who was that
though.
other guy?
Yeah, that is not
after Rico, they tried to do that with. He was the big, super built black guy who was really
Orlando Jordan?
Yeah.
He was in
Oh,
JBL's
yeah,
cabinet.
that's right.
But
Yeah.
actually, when he changed companies over to TNA, that was actually his gimmick, was that he was a bisexual wrestler.
Yep, that's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I know way too much
He
about
would've-
what's going on in wrestling and what's gone on.
And
That's
That's why I
bisexual
love
gay
doing this
wrestling.
podcast. So that was you did I guess that kind of counts for both.
Well, I mean,
You did a WWE deal. What about WCW? Do you remember?
I would say Wolfpack, and it's hard for me to pick something else that I think is better than that.
It's because it had like the most production in it.
Yeah, like the whole black and white
Sting,
video with them
Or
coming
Hollywood
out.
Hogan.
Yeah,
Hogan's
Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child. But the main NWO theme was sick too.
Yeah. Yeah.
WWE.
Wolfpack for
You
life.
did
Triple
the
H.
Triple H. I really liked. Gosh, I like all of Edge's themes.
Oh,
All the
okay.
way.
They know me.
Like the first one,
Yeah.
that one, and then when he switched to Rob Zombie in the 2000s,
Oh yeah,
and then the Alter Bridge one.
Oh yeah.
Ultimate
That's
is
where
my
he-
favorite one. So, I love it.
He had good music
he did.
all the time. Him and CM Punk. I
He
mean,
got such a pop. Oh, CM.
it's
Punk.
funny that
Don't get
CM
Dylan started,
Punk.
Dylan.
No. It's funny that CM Punk and Randy Orton shared music at one time. Did you
They
know
both
that?
Yeah.
they both use Kill Switch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I didn't know that until I actually saw a video. It was like Randy Orton when he was still wearing those blue trunks with the Adidas stripes down the side.
Oh, and I
Oh,
see his
yeah.
face right now with his hair.
He's
and
got
no
the bowl cut.
facial.
He's got the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Before the skull tattoos.
Yeah, when it was
Yeah,
the
just
tribal.
the tribal on his
Oh,
head.
yeah. Ugly.
Yeah.
He covered those up pretty well.
No,
though.
they look-
he integrated them
Oh
really
yeah.
well.
I mean, for how hard it is to cover tribal tattoos that are solid black, he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Looks good. Looks good.
And then the last aspect we have of the '90s era. What was your favorite event / moment that you had in the '90s? I'll bat lead off again on this one. One of the pay-per-views that we actually did watch in 1998 was Starrcade.
Starrcade
Starrcade
98.
Yeah,
When
it's a
Goldberg
good one.
fought Kevin Nash and Scott Hall came out with the taser and ended the streak. I think that's one of the most memorable moments in WCW history.
Is that
on the good side.
98?
Or
99, I think.
That was-
no 98. It was 98 because Sting Hogan was 97.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
That's
You're
true.
right.
That is
Or I
true.
could
Are we
be
talking WCW or WWE?
It could be either. That was just the
Okay,
moment that
okay.
stuck out to me.
Okay.
So
All
go
right.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mankind win the title.
Monday night.
And,
Oh,
Bischoff,
yeah.
and Bischoff. Oh,
The
that whole
turning
angle.
point.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't Bischoff. It was Tony Schiavone.
Oh yeah, that's
Don't-
right.
That
Yeah,
like,
some
don't
butts
turn
and
into
seats.
Raw. Mankind wins the title. You don't want to see that.
Everybody
Everybody
wants to
switches
see it.
over.
Oh, he's like,
that.
that's the best person. That'll put butts
Butts
in
in the
seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then WCW dropped in ratings.
That was-
What happened to Tony Schiavone? I haven't heard anything since.
He's
No,
very
He's not
Fine,
announcing
fine,
anymore.
fine.
He was with TNA for a while.
Yeah. That was.
What? He's like the less underhyped Don West, who's all freaking.
Don was.
I think what stuck out for me in the 90s wasn't one particular moment. I think it was going back to DX. We got 2 words for ya.
Their shock factor was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff they were able to do.
The stuff they did.
Like bringing the tank when they were
Yeah,
the
That was
invasion.
rad.
Or even like tailgating out in like the parking lot and having a huge party. Triple H coming in and having women flash him in the
Oh,
crowd.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like at that time, WCW was giving away free tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was. I mean, I don't.
Still blows my mind that they do that today. Put fillers in, just like, hey, you want to come? When the hell did that happen? Where were we when that happened?
Yep.
Okay, you want
Right.
to come be front row? Yes.
What, do you need me to take a bump? Like, I'll take a super
Yeah.
kick to the face.
I'll take whatever you want.
Right?
Well, like Rob Van
My
Dam,
turn.
what he licked. Was it the Sheik's foot? The Iron Sheik. He like licked his foot on
RVD?
Yeah,
What?
as a guy. No, I'm dead serious. It was like his first.
Oh, I thought you meant. Okay, I thought you meant like as his character was
No.
established.
This
No.
was Rob. He was like a 15-year-old kid. Went into the ring, and licked the Iron Sheik's
Yeah, they
foot
have like
for
those extra.
$100.
What?
Yeah.
That's real? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Now, would
No,
you
it's
guys
like-
do that to Iron Sheik?
No.
I mean, what was $100 back?
Are we
15,
adjusting for
25 years ago?
inflation?
Yeah.
Mm,
But the
that's
Sheik.
true.
So what was your event?
For me, I'm thinking the Triple H turn on Shawn Michaels. The first
That
one.
was
Kicking him out of DX.
Yep.
And then, Shawn had that's when he took his hiatus and came back with the NWO. No, then
He was kind of included.
he
in
came
that,
back.
but
He was like a general manager for a little bit.
he was the commissioner.
That's right.
Mhm.
He was
That's
the
right.
commissioner.
And then when the NWO came back, he came back out, and then he still had those feuds with Triple H and. That
Triple
was
H
good.
saying, "Oh, you're addicted to pills" and all that, and that was cool. I remember that. I don't know why I remember that, but that was just funny and
Yep,
stuff.
Some
They-
angles that they do where they bring in real shit, you're just like,
Oh, Lita, Matt Hardy.
yep. And then, I was
That
like,
was so-
because when I was a kid, I was watching. I was like, oh, this must be,
Talk about hostile work.
you get older, and then remember those WWE magazines? Like you actually read it, and you're like, holy shit, this is real. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you agree to this? Like,
Yeah.
So
So
that's
that made
me.
for a good gimmick. That was
Yeah,
That was-
a good angle.
yeah, they had some great matches.
Well, that brings a close to our 90s era. It's always good to go back and reminisce.
We love the 90s.
later shows, we might go to the 2000s.
80s.
The 80s.
The 80s
See,
were
I
a
thought
rough
about
time.
I thought about
They were
doing
an
the
odd time.
80s for this one to start, but I feel like there wouldn't be a lot of talking points because it was Hogan, it was Savage, it was Andre.
Iron
Yeah,
Sheik.
That's about it.
Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
Flair, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like there's the golden
Dusty
age. I
Rhodes.
think the golden age of wrestling was the 90s.
As much as people say it was the 80s,
Absolutely, 100%.
as much as 80s may have been the most popular time for a while, but 90s is what got everybody.
And that's when
watching
we were
regularly.
watching wrestling. I mean, how often is it you go to the network and be like, oh, I think I want to watch an old match from 1982.
Von
Rarely
Erich
ever.
versus Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's fun, but just to watch the new stuff, watch them make those crazy moves, make the spots that they would take.
Imagine
Yeah.
if we didn't have the Attitude Era. Where
Pretty
would
rough.
we be?
Not making this podcast.
It's true.
Yeah.
Of course,
I always
we
feel
could say
like the
same about
90s of
Roman Reigns.
wrestling was the. Remember that match with Shane McMahon and Ken Shamrock, or was
for
it
the European.
Stevie Richards?
Steve Blackman. Is that what you're
Steve
talking about?
Blackman.
Oh yeah, and they're up on the
Yeah.
Titantron.
Yeah, and the kendo
and
stick.
Ken
Yeah.
goes and he falls
he
off.
falls
That's
off.
like the epitome of the just how even the chairman's son, the owner's son, would get up there
And he
and
would take
drop a shot
ridiculous
from there,
spots.
Amazing.
or jump off the jump off the cell. I mean, I'd say Shane McMahon's probably one of my favorite wrestlers from.
Oh, the stuff that he does for who he is, he loves that business.
Oh man, that's
Oh, yeah.
I wish he actually had a wrestling career. Like he actually was on the main roster.
He was more than just the boss's son.
yeah.
But he was. I thought he was. I mean, he would have got the time, but I think everyone would have thought it would have been more politics if like he ever went over.
Yeah.
Did he ever win a
major-
title?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
won the hardcore title. He won.
But he never won the
Who
world
didn't win the
title.
hardcore title at one point?
I think I'm
Back when it was
I
like
think
the-
I'm on the list for the hardcore.
I think
title.
everyone is like that whole 24-hour.
And you know what? He
Like
had,
who was it that got pinned in their sleep?
I think it was Crash Holly.
It was Crash Holly, but who pinned him?
Didn't they?
It was
had
like Jerry.
It was Briscoe.
It was Jerry Briscoe. I remember this, and the ref goes, 1, 2, 3. Raises his hand.
I remember that because they brought in all the backstage like management.
Yeah.
And it's like, here, we'll give this guy the hardcore title. Oh no, we'll drop it to this guy.
Yeah,
Well, that
it
was
like
like
every
it was
5
seconds.
WrestleMania.
So funny.
WrestleMania. I want to say it was WrestleMania 2000. The first match is a hardcore battle royal, and it changes hands like 18 times in a.
Yeah.
It's like a
In the
15-minute time limit, and it's like Crash Holly starts with it and Crash Holly ends with it.
But they
I
like
thought
that
Taz pins
controversial
in,
finish.
Holly.
I thought Holly won it in the end.
So
He
it
came
was
in
that
with
like
the jar
controversial.
of,
it was that finish that everyone was like, "What happened?" Because like you pinned him like right at 0, or like the clock expired, or something like that, and they're like, "Well, who's the winner?" And then that went off into a different feud.
Right. Yeah.
There have been some good matches. Do you remember the APA Invitational.
Yeah.
They had the bar fight.
Absolutely.
That was the
There was some brutal
destroying.
spots in that.
Well, I miss those backstage brawls, the street fight with Cena and Guerrero.
Boiler room brawl.
Booker T and Stone Cold in the
At the
grocery
grocery
store.
store. Yes. Oh man.
The hospital with Mr. Sock.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say this back when Zane was talking about RVD and in ECW. Do you guys remember Cena versus RVD in a hardcore match?
One night stand?
Is that one?
Yeah, that was
nice
nuts.
That was.
Say what you will about Cena, but that guy will do anything.
I think
That
we all
was-
agree we love to hate Cena, but
I would have loved
will
to be
not
in
deny
that
how
arena
great he is.
for that match. Dude, imagine Cena in that match and
Yeah.
going, I don't know how he kept it together.
You got everybody wanting to kill you.
He's the biggest professional, man.
He is. Kudos to him. Even dropping the title Elimination Chamber, just like that. Not even one of the last, like, fourth to last or whatever. Awesome.
Yeah.
But you think he's going to win it again in Mania?
Near
break-
future.
Near future.
Yeah.
He'll be the 17-time champion.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're
And he
gonna
deserves it.
hold it off to when he wants to retire, and that'll be his retirement match, like what they did with what was it, Lita or Trish Stratus?
They
Win
do
the
with
women's
Edge, too.
title.
Yeah, with Edge. Yeah, they just
I've heard stories that they're bringing back a big group of previous divas, previous women champions for something at Mania, and like Beth Phoenix might be coming back.
That's Edge's
Trish, Lita, and doing some sort of, maybe it'll be like a tag team of like alumni versus new.
I'd
say that
watch
would be
that. I'd
good.
love to watch
That would make a
Yeah.
match worth watching.
I would watch that women's match. I mean, but I like watching the matches with like Alexa Bliss. She's solid in the ring.
Yeah,
She's
Um,
only like 25.
I think Becky
She's
would be
good.
better too if
I like Becky
she
Lynch.
could get better on the mic. I mean, listening to her is like listening to
Nails on
two
chalkboard.
cats and taking two cats, throwing them in a trash bag, and then putting a chainsaw in there and just
Yeah.
listening. That's what she's like on the mic. It's bad,
and they're
but she's
talking-
good. She's a great wrestler.
Bringing back what cruiserweights, right?
Yeah, we're talking about bringing like veteran cruiserweights.
Like Chavo back,
Guerrero,
Mysterio might be
yes,
coming
yeah.
back.
And Chavo's dad just died.
Yeah,
Chavo
yeah,
Guerrero
that's
Senior.
it.
That was
So we
Oh,
talked about
did
that
you?
last week.
Shit.
Yeah,
sorry. Like again, it was on my adventure.
Travel Classic. Classical.
yeah.
Anyways, one of the sections we're going to start doing every week is random pay-per-view of the week. Talk about a pay-per-view that we thought, might kind of be applicable what's going on now in the WWE universe or WCW. But the pay-per-view that we picked this week was No Way Out 2009. It was two very big chamber matches, and it was something that we never really saw before with, as we'll go into, Edge was the WWE champion going into the start of the night. And at the end of the night, he dropped the belt, and he was also in the second chamber match, winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Mhm.
But first, let's talk about the quality of the chamber matches and why they were unique. So I think with Chamber 2009, the first one was the WWE Championship with Edge was the champion, Jeff Hardy, Big Show, Kozlov, Undertaker, and Triple H. So what stood out for that one for you guys? Like,
Kozlov was the sore thumb.
I think Kozlov killed it.
Never liked Kozlov.
I never.
he's just a
was
big
Kozlov
guy that's
fan.
like a big body. He's always around.
But at that time, I think there was better talent to put in that because it was a great match. Just to start, it was a great quality match. I thought I wouldn't have had Edge go out very first,
I think it was perfect.
or I would have had someone else in the match before he went out. Just a little.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was like the angle. Like he was
Yeah.
out first, and it's like, holy shit, that's never happened before. Because I don't think before that point the champion had ever gone out first.
True. There were some
First or
big spots
second.
in that match too. I mean, Hardy throwing a swanton off the pod.
That's true.
That's huge. On to Big Show, who
And-
usually
Taker suplexing Big Show off the ropes.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed about that pay-per-view, almost every match had a superplex in it. The first Elimination Chamber match did. The one that didn't was JBL Shawn Michaels, and it almost did. There was a setup for one, but it didn't happen.
It's one of those.
was
moves.
that JBL Shawn Michaels match after the whole like Shawn Michaels is poorer and
Yeah,
that
was the ending.
That's right.
That was the
That's
climax
right.
That
of
was
it,
the
yeah.
ending of that angle. That
was
he was
actually-
his
that's-
slave.
Yeah.
part of the script?
But
Sorry.
that match, I think it was 10 out of 10. Timing was perfect.
It was
How-
very well paced. It was.
What was the timing for it? everyone was where they were supposed to be at the right time. There was no wasted movement. There wasn't botches, really. And when you think about it, like, when you go back and look at these matches, how many Hall of Famers are in this match? Let's say Taker Hall of Famer, Big Show Hall of Famer, Kozlov not, no, Triple H, yes, Jeff Hardy, I'd say yes, and Edge, yes, that is a Hall of Famer.
Did you say Taker?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know.
Well, I mean, 5 out of 6. It's like you're not going to have a perfect combatants in every match. You're not going to have perfect superstars in there. And at that time, if you remember, Kozlov was inserted into the main event.
He was undefeated.
Yeah,
he was undefeated.
He was undefeated in singles competition at that point.
Right, but he was involved in the Jeff Hardy angle in 2008. He'd always been with Triple H and Jeff Hardy, and he was just always the guy that was around.
He was solid. He was just a solid dude to have, like that one extra dude. He was the solid guy to have, and I really liked it. I mean, the timing, just like compared to now, where like you might see people like waiting around, you're just like, what is he doing? But this, it was just like right as he turns around, the guy's there.
Yeah.
Or let's say even like when Big Show was like hit out of the ring, he came into the ring and turned around to take a bump right at the right time, and it was just better times. I mean, I really like this last Elimination Chamber we just had. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of the best that we've had. Mm-hmm. Better than. The one with Mark Henry and
some of those later ones were bad.
Like the Intercontinental title one, the tag team.
They just kind of threw them all.
It was just they were just trying to throw shit together.
Yeah,
there were always some big spots in those Elimination Chamber matches. I mean, anytime you see
the bulletproof glass,
you see somebody get powerbombed on the steel grates. Those are rough spots.
Did you watch the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah.
Did you watch that there weren't steel grates anymore?
Yeah, they changed the whole chamber. It was a whole new dynamic.
But a lot of things people are saying is they wouldn't have been able to take some of the bumps they did if it was on steel.
Yeah,
shows how tougher they were back then.
They're just trying to.
Well, I mean, they're trying to limit these lawsuits that are happening. You got
so many injuries too. I mean, I understand it, but it was different. They knew how to take proper bumps back in the day. Mm-hmm. Even if it was these hard bumps on the steel, they knew how to
took bumps on that steel.
Yeah, they knew how to take it. It was better timing, better execution, and they just took care of each other a lot better. They weren't more careless. True. They may be rushing a lot more superstars that we have now to come. They need more people, so they're forcing them to do this. But they might be ready, but not as ready as they think to do these certain moves, certain bumps. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So the next time, are you going to...
I was just going to say, excellent quality match. But on to the next one. Shane McMahon versus Randy Orton.
It's great.
In a street fight.
Well, I think that angle... with Randy Orton versus the McMahons brought up, like a match that we've seen 100 times, but it's still a great match, was Triple H versus Randy Orton. But I think the whole angle that Randy Orton had with the McMahons, punted everyone.
Yeah, punted pins.
I mean, not many people besides maybe him and Stone Cold maybe Triple H, but they get to beat the shit out of their boss.
Yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
When you get a chance to have that kind of angle with McMahon, I mean, there's nowhere else to go but over. Think of every feud McMahon has had. It's been with a future WWE champion.
He's even feuded with God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Had the light coming down.
I remember.
It was me, Austin.
Back to the match. It was a great match. A lot of good spots.
Legacy
coming out.
That was odd.
It was Manu. It wasn't even Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But Cody Rhodes getting coast to coast with the steel can or the trash can in the face.
Yeah, that's always just
going for the elbow from the rope onto the announce table and missing because Orton had stayed there so long, busting him open with the monitor. Yeah. A lot of great spots in that match.
Shane is crazy.
Shane was, and you thought for the longest time Shane's just totally kicking his ass, and then out of nowhere the RKO, match over.
Yeah,
great match.
Was a good one. So, and as you brought up before, the JBL HBK match, with the rivalry going in, kayfabe, Shawn Michaels was poor, and JBL is the rich guy, Shawn needed to pay his bills, and so he became his little lackey, his little patsy. But I think that match was great, it was one of those things, both guys were kind of over, like you hate JBL, but if you hate him, he's doing his job right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think the match was a couple years too late.
True.
Yeah, I agree with
JBL's milk jugs were just a little bit.
They were showing their
jiggly.
age.
He was jiggly.
Give him back in the day when he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero, 2004, 2005, with that Shawn Michaels.
That would have been a good match.
Yeah.
It would have been a much better match. Still a good match. Just I think it's just a little too late. For that
Real
match.
question: on a scale of 1 to 10, how great was Shawn Michaels' wife looking?
12.
I think she looks gross.
Solid. I would say 8. Solid 8. Canon.
She's so gross. She looks like a leather handbag.
Well, now, but I mean,
No, in that
You think in 2009? I thought it was
good,
decent.
man.
I was. a
she
fan.
was. She looked
Shout
like
out Rebecca Michaels, man.
she was orange, man. She was like.
Yeah, so is our president.
I was gonna say.
Okay, another WWE Hall of Famer.
Right?
They finally put a WWE. They finally put a wrestler in the White House. Shout out
Thinking
the
of the
Biden.
Hall of Fame, though, do you think with Vader dying soon, do you think that Vince will be like, all right, let's do this?
You think they do that with people that die quickly? Like,
Well, I've heard China's. I mean,
I don't know. If
I heard
going-
China might never go in. because
I've
of the
heard that.
porn
I've
thing.
heard both sides, but then you hear interviews with Triple H
Well, Triple H
talking about it. And I know he was close to it, but he's like, you know what?
Yeah, he was super close. To
Yes. I'm sorry. You mean like super close?
Yeah, he was pretty close.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Which one's him?
It's kind of sixes at that point, but we got Teddy Long going in. We've got
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle going in. Who else is going in? Who's the celebrity going in this year?
Have you said it yet?
I don't even have.
I don't
I bet.
think
I bet it might be Shaq.
And that's coming close. Oh, Shaq. I mean,
Yeah.
that waste of a WrestleMania slot. Fucking Big Show. All he does is
Filler.
in every picture he takes, like, look at my abs. No, you're still slow. You're still old.
You
They're
still
never
look
going to
fat.
give you another title shot. Just retire.
But have you ever heard Big Show talk about it? He's like, I don't care if I ever win a title.
Yeah.
Like, the Hall of Fame doesn't mean anything to me. He's like, I'm there to put guys over.
Well,
That's
he's definitely
cool.
going to be in the
That
Hall
is-
of Fame.
that is
He knows he's going to be in the Hall of
Yeah.
Save
Fame.
that match for something else.
That's a good brother. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a like backlash when that was still around. That's that kind of match.
Yeah.
George the Animal Steel. You think he'll go in, or is he already?
He's
in?
already in.
He's
Yeah,
already-
he's been in
he's
for a
already
long
in.
time.
Yeah,
Forever.
yeah.
Last match, the World Heavyweight Championship.
We skipped one.
No, we didn't.
Jack Swagger and Finley.
I highlighted the main matches, ones that actually.
Let's talk about matches we cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Championship was John Cena, Mike Knox, Rey Mysterio.
Hold on,
Mike
hold on.
Knox a drink once.
We
Super
did.
cool.
When we went to Impact Wrestling, we bought Mike Knox and
Magnus.
Nick Aldis, the GFW World Champion. We bought him a beer at Bout Time right by the E Center.
Chatted with him. That was fun.
Very nice.
Super cool.
It was actually really cool.
Oh, Rock and Roll Express.
How many of those have there been?
Those are inducted into the.
No.
So it's Cindy Lauper and
Oh, that's who it is.
well,
Well, she's already in.
That was that whole thing with Hulk back in the day, right?
Yeah.
The Hulk
First
and the Rock and Roll
WrestleMania.
Express, and Cindy Lauper came out with him. That's when he was feuding with Piper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. T.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
WrestleMania 1, maybe.
So that's our second win. Going
So
back.
it was John Cena, Mike Knox, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Kane, and it was supposed to be Kofi Kingston,
Edge.
which Edge just comes out and clobbers him and takes his spot, with the winner being Edge, coming over from being the,
First
champ.
one out.
Yeah, first one out in the other championship match,
First
losing
one out,
his
last
belt to winning it at the end. Is it just another case of the ultimate opportunist?
Yeah, and it wouldn't have worked with anyone else.
No, he was at that point with his angle. He could get away with everything. If I remember right, he had Vicky in his back pocket, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Vicky was the GM of SmackDown.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just that was the perfect setup for that to happen.
And his facial expressions.
Yeah, and I mean that plays back to his gimmick. Ultimate opportunist, will do everything. Rated R superstar, blah blah blah. So anyway, going back.
Great match.
It was.
It was a great match.
I thought this one was better than the first one.
I do too.
I thought the
do
second one
too.
was better.
Yeah.
Just because the chemistry also of Jericho and Mysterio that they had,
Yep.
with their little like 1v1 they were having inside.
Mhm.
It was
Fantastic.
awesome. I could watch those guys work forever.
That and it took a code breaker, a 619, and a spear to take down John Cena.
Yeah,
Gotta make him
still
look
wasn't
strong.
enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Still,
Superman taking 3 finishers back to back to back.
I dig it. Well, we're at that point of the show where we're all at our individual sections of the show.
Time to bring it on home.
Bring it on home. I see one of our producers, she was standing at the stairs, and one of the talents has to leave, it sounds like. And so, not going to hurry this up, but we're going to finish up strong. And the first one we're going to talk about, the Chris Sorrow section, where Chris will talk about his topics. We'll either go over, superstars of the year, move of the year, other things that Chris, has highlighted and things that he wants to talk about and what he brings to the table. So, Chris, what is the topic this week?
We're going to go back to 2009. That year, we're going to talk about breakout superstar of the year. Who do you think had that year was their best?
In 2009.
In 2009.
Okay.
Their personal best year or the best of that year?
Of that year. Who was the main highlight of that year?
Edge.
Edge.
Hands down. He was in every main event.
He was the show.
They would do everything to make him lose the title, then win the title, then,
He'd find a way every single time to get back in the picture.
Yeah, and he'd always have he'd always have a new gimmick, whether it be, I've lost the championship, now I've got to get in with Vicky Guerrero and, get my other, use her to get my other title shot, and then get Teddy Long involved. He always had his dick in everything, no matter what, and he did a great job. I mean, we loved him. I loved him as a heel. I thought he was the best heel.
It was amazing.
Good. What's next week? Do you have next week's topic, or are we going to wait till next week?
I'm going to wait till next week. But I was going to say Orton's up there, too,
Ooh,
for that year.
I agree.
I agree with that.
For that year. Just with the whole kicking of the head, his the McMahon feud, and then his match at Mania. It was just Orton. Being solid. And I think if it wasn't for that year, he wouldn't be where he is now.
So would you say, in other words, he's been glorious?
It's not what I was using this spot.
I don't care. I saw it and I looked over and it just made me want to do
Now
it.
we're talking about the man himself to the very far left, the move of the week. Last week it was the super kick.
No, I won't give in till I'm...
So Zach, you weren't here last week. The move of the week last week was super kick. If there was anyone you could super kick, who would it be? It did not have to be wrestling. Anyone in the world.
Anyone?
Anyone in the world.
I think I kind of wanted to be someone in wrestling.
That's fine. Wrestling's fine.
I was the Miz. You were
the Miz.
Roman Reigns.
and
I was a variety of people, but we settled on.
it was people that he worked with.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you a little, for instance.
I would love to give one to Byron Saxton.
Okay.
Just as soon as he comes out of a door, just gone. Him. I actually like Corey Graves.
Michael Cole.
Shawn Michaels.
We'll save that for next week.
Yeah, that's just fuel to the fire right there. But yeah, Byron Saxton, in a heartbeat.
All right. This week's move of the week coincides with our brand new champion, Bray Wyatt. If you could Sister Abigail one person, Chris, starting with you, who would it be?
Would it be bad if I said Roman Reigns again?
Nope. Understandable.
I like that shirt.
For now, that's
Out of
fine.
an answer
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Zane,
Anyways,
Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail. I mean, I can take that a few ways. I mean, I'd love to Sister Abigail Alexa Bliss, but in a good way. In a bad way,
Hey, you can take this however you want it. So we'll go with Alexa Bliss. That's your one answer. Zach.
Oh man, it would be Goldberg. Just right
Goldberg.
right after he wins the Universal Championship, just see him go down. I just hope that's not a squash match. Please, God, make it last more than 30 seconds, please.
I mean, it was good when
Kevin Owens does not deserve that.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree.
Mine would be anybody who likes to drive slow on the freeway, riding your brake in the fast lane when there's nobody in front of you. You're getting Sister Abigail. I'll even kiss you on the forehead.
I like
before.
it.
do you want to give the fans a preview next week? You can save it till next
We're
week.
saving, but this is brand new every week.
And then the last personal section.
Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
All right, so mine. I'm going to talk about NXT talent that I think needs to be on up on the main roster immediately. I'm talking Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
I don't care if people think he needs to develop in NXT. No, he does not.
I think he's ready to go.
He is ready. He was ready at the Royal Rumble. I love DIY. I love the Revival. Those two groups are what tag team wrestling should be.
Yeah.
I also I had this love-hate relationship with Ty Dillinger. Glad he's on the main roster now, but what the hell's he doing there? What's he doing?
They said
up
it
there?
was an appearance. It didn't say it was a debut.
He needs to be up there. Granted, he was there before. And then, as much as I'm going to get hate for this, I don't think Shinsuke's ready. Give him the championship again. Let him figure it out more. In
I
NXT.
think in-ring ability, he's ready. Mic skills, unfortunately.
But what are you going to do
But
with
that's
him?
the language barrier.
What are you going to do with him? Who are you going to have him feud with?
I think it would be an AJ Styles.
You
Yeah.
Like a return
It's kind of like a best of the
Wrestle
best.
Kingdom 9.
All that AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor,
The
Sami
indie
Zayn
guys.
again, all
Oh, yeah.
those guys, Samoa Joe, they can all. You keep that group together.
Yeah.
How many different matches can you have? Triple threat,
True.
singles, all this. Just that group itself could be a promotion.
Very true. And even with all the ex-TNA guys that you have on the main roster now, I mean,
Xavier Woods, throw him in there.
An AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. That'd be a great match.
Awesome.
I mean,
they've always had awesome matches.
That, and then the last NXT person I want to come up is Asuka. She is awesome. If you ever watch her matches,
yeah.
she is awesome.
Okay.
She's just like Shinsuke. Though.
Yeah,
She's
but
got
no,
great
there's,
in-ring
I feel
ability.
like there's more that I think she's better on the mic. Where Asuka is like, jumbled
much.
English. Where, he's like, oh Shinsuke, how you feeling? Oh, good. Where
I think
Asuka
that's-
could carry a conversation.
Yeah, I think, but he tries to do that with his character, how he's like
He's
super
the
extravagant.
superstar.
Yeah, okay.
He's
all
the
right.
superstar.
So that concludes my section.
I'm going against you and saying Shinsuke would be up there.
All right, but again, who
In-ring
are you going to
ability.
put him with? Who are you going to? You got to have him feuding. You got to
think
have
you
him
gotta
going for a
have
championship.
Samoa Joe is where I would
I
go.
think you bring more people up, and then you bring him maybe.
I don't think Lesnar and Shinsuke would work. I don't think
I don't
It
think
does
Lesnar
in
would know how
Japan.
to.
Did you watch their match in
I
Japan?
didn't. I didn't even know.
really
that.
good.
IWGP Championship.
Really?
It was before Shinsuke added long hair, but it was great.
I'll watch it.
Oh,
then.
it was
I've never
awesome,
seen it.
man.
I've never
It
seen
was like 2006 or
Yeah.
something like that.
It was around
but it
that
was
time.
it was right when he got his
Okay.
dagger tattoo. It was awesome.
I'll have to see it.
And for next week's random pay-per-view of the week, we're going to go to WrestleMania 21.
Yeah, let's do it.
First Money in the Bank, inherited by the GOAT, invention, brainchild. But that'll conclude us for another episode of the Four Horsemen Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for everyone who contributed, who was in on the chat, all the viewers we've had. If you like what you see, give us a follow on the chat here on Twitch. We'll also be recording this podcast and putting it on YouTube. Go follow the channel. Liking and subscribing are free. Do what you can to help out the channel. And
we got Sam joining for the finish.
oh, thank you, Sam.
Welcome, cashing it in, cashing his money in.
Yeah.
Well,
Got to get the screen time.
Vintage Sam.
But
And we'll see you next time.
There's two dogs.